What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about a handful of mining stocks today. We're going to be talking about Marathon, Riot, Bitfarms, Wolf, and CleanSpark. CleanSpark at the request of DB, and Shareful. You just said mining stocks, so I guess the rest is for Shareful. And you did mention CleanSpark, of course. You know, I guess we're doing CleanSpark for DB and Shareful, but we're going to go over everything. Again, we're going to start off with Marathon, then move on to Riot, then do Bitfarms, Wolf, finish it up with CleanSpark. So stay tuned and watch the whole thing. I'm going to breeze through these. I probably will make a little bit of a longer video on, or a longer segment on CleanSpark in this video, but let's look at this here. So on a daily perspective, yes, you went up a little bit today, rejecting your 50 area. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I need to get my brush away, and there we go. That's the brush. Need to get that off. Rejecting the 50 area, absolutely, I think you're going down. At no point am I convinced that you are going to move up without getting into the oversold zone. At least bouncing off of it. But before we can even think about you going up, you need to do one of those two things. And you haven't. You haven't. And yeah, so lower is where I think you're going. Relative high to low. Get the high there. Yeah, right there. 382 hit below your 236. Tested it as resistance today. You actually tipped it, right? Definitely, I believe you're going lower. And where are you going to go? This is where. So this is where a little tip for tat on the fibs. If you want to learn how to use fibs, this is based on my personal experience with them, and some things that I've learned along the way. But this is mainly off of like my personal experience. You want to, if you see this kind of maneuver. Like this is what I've learned from other sources, is this part right here. You reject the 382 on a strong move, that generally means you're going to go lower. To confirm that, you want to get a close below a 236 and a confirmed close. So you closed and you rejected it today, you tipped it. If you move down tomorrow, I mean, this is already, in my opinion, confirmation enough, but further confirmation would be if we have a red day tomorrow, we continue to move lower. If we close above that 236, it would be a little bit weird to me, so I very much do think we're going lower. If you have that, this is where the part that I've built in from experience. If you have that now, instead of using this fib, you base it on the greater fib, this range here from low to high, and you can see you're probably going to move down to your next level, probably down to the 61869. You can even throw that in correspondence with the small fib and see if you can get some extensions on there. And wouldn't you know it, the golden ratio, the 618, is lined up very well with the 1618. You even have your 1886, which seems to be very popular these days for some reason across a lot of charts. Not for some reason, it's a significant level. It's not as common to be hit as these levels are, but on a small scale like this, deeper retracements, deeper extensions are a norm, I would say. So seeing anything from 1250 to 1130, that makes sense to me. You're probably going there. Could you go lower? Sure. I wouldn't really look for it. I would say somewhere between there is where you're going. This is a pretty big market cap stock, but seeing a standard golden retracement like that would make sense in my opinion. So that's Marathon. Let's move on to Riot. RIOT, Riot Platforms. I think it used to be Riot Blockchain. They changed their name. Lower, definitely lower. A little bit of a double top. Looking like an M pattern for sure. I absolutely think, I don't even need to look at this, man. Taking this fib, when you have an M pattern, what's nice about M patterns is you can just take that middle point, take it to the second high there, and then base extensions off it. You don't even have to worry about these retracements. Could you find support here and then move up? Sure. Would that be weird? Yes. Do weird things happen? Absolutely they do. But basing it on the realm of what's expected, especially whenever you broke below your 618 on the first pass, you're finding resistance on it, confirming it. That maneuver in itself, this is something that I've learned both on personal experience, but also from other sources as well, through like reading articles on the internet, through seeing other people doing the fib retracements and stuff like that, but mainly this kind of stuff I actually read in like a fib rule book. I don't remember what the website is. I would post it if I did. This was like years ago, man, like years ago. I did not save my works cited, so it's not like I'm trying to hide the information or not give anybody credit. I just genuinely don't have it, man. I would be pulling a name out of my butt if I tried to. So, and really anything that I read anyways, I always took it with a grain of salt, as you should if you're trying to learn fibs or TA. Apply it yourself, see if those results happen the same way that you read it, because oftentimes there will be things that aren't exactly how they claim to be. There's people who are stuck in their ways and they will write something, it's like, this is how it works, and it's like, actually it doesn't work exactly like that. Ballpark kind of, but if you want to be specific, you want to get the things down right, you kind of have to apply it yourself, learn from your own experience, take things that people tell you or that you like look into, that you read, or that you see people do it yourself. See if you can find similar results or even better results doing it your own way, right? That's kind of how I went about it. And what I'm trying to tell you, what sparked all that is, going through your 618 on the first pass, rejecting it like this little check back to it, and now you're coming down. That's a very strong inclination of going to your minimum extended range, which would be the 1272 to the 1618. And again, you don't even have to know that. It just helps confirm the idea. But this just looks like an M pattern overall. You already know you're going to see extensions. Probably. Not guaranteed, but probably. This just helps with that probability, in my opinion. But very much, I believe you're going to move to $7, maybe even $5.32. Would you go much past that? I would be surprised. I would be surprised because you do have this support area right here. So $7 at a minimum, kind of this previous resistance area. $5.30 at the maximum, probably, the support area down there. So that's where I think you're going. I don't think you're going to go lower than this low, but absolutely I think you're going to go lower than that low. And that's Riot. Weekly RSI looks like it wants to go lower. Daily RSI looks like it wants to go lower. So yeah, actually it even looks a little bit weaker than Marathon, to be completely fair. Now we're going to do Bitfarms, Bitfarms, and I forget, Shareful, I forget if it was you or if it was, I think it was somebody else, but I think it was somebody else. I don't remember. It was somebody was asking if I liked Bitfarms or Wolf more. And just real quick, because we're going to talk about Wolf after this, I'll just go over it, right? Let's take the relative high here to the cycle low. And let's project out, right? That's your minimum expected ranges, okay? If you were to break out to new all-time highs, because it's an if, it's not a guarantee, but that would be essentially a 10x. 900% growth is a 10x, right? Because a 100% growth is a 2x. So 100 to get to 900 is plus 8, right? 100 plus 800 is 900. Okay, 100 is a 2x growth. 2x plus 8x equals 10x. Okay, I know some people see this and they're like, "That says 900%. That's not a 10x. It is a 10x actually. That's how it works. 10x, the 1618, your maximum area. That's a 30.5x essentially. 10x to a 30.5x. Okay, on your kind of expected extension areas. If we go to Wolf, I'm going to get into the more immediate TA really soon. But if we go to Wolf here, top to bottom, the minimum, and this is from the current price, not from where I think the lows are going to go, but the minimum extension would be an 84x, already demolishing the high expectation. I don't know if you're going to go all the way up here, but that you're talking about a multi-100x at that point. That would be like a 380x. So absolutely, I like Wolf more. Absolutely, I do. Again, I don't know if it goes to the 1618, but it could very well go to that 1272. If we look at the market cap of Wolf, the market cap is 408 million. If we go to Bitfarms, Bitfarms, market cap is almost 300 million more. It's like 2.7 million more. So lower market cap and more room to grow in Wolf, I think so. Could Bitfarms break through? Could it demolish its expected range? Sure. Absolutely it could. Could it go all the way up to its 2272? It could. It really could. It's possible. And what would that give it? That would give it a 300x as well. A 100x from where it's at now would give it a $67 billion market cap, right? Yeah, 67. A 300x would be like well over $100 billion. I don't think that's going to happen for this thing. All the more reason why I believe like really something like that is kind of reaching in itself. But yeah, I mean it could go higher than the 1618 to the 1272. All that to say, let's do the more immediate stuff. I'm getting caught up here. Weekly RSI is not really giving me much. You can look at the price for what it is, and you got higher highs, higher lows. Probably going to come down and form a higher low. Probably, keep that trajectory going. Let's see what you've done. Relatively speaking, top to bottom, hit the 0.5. Bottom to top, bottom to top here, hit the 382.5 area. Probably going to go to that 382.5 area again, somewhere around $1.50 to $1.20. I doubt you hit the 0.5, so $1.50 to $1.20 is probably where you're going to go, in my genuine opinion. Daily RSI looks sad. Rejecting that 50 like that, yeah, not looking good. You came up a little bit today. That's because Bitcoin went up a little bit today. We'll look at Bitcoin at the end of this video, actually, if I remember, but probably. Yeah, downtrend here, lower highs. Had a little bull trap, looking like you want to go lower, relatively speaking. High to low, rejected the 0.5. Finding support on the 236. You know, if you get above that 382, that looks nice, but I doubt it's going to promote anything. I very much doubt you take out that high. I do think you have lower to go, and probably what you're going to do is you're going to go to like $1.09, maybe even down to 92 cents, 91 cents. That makes sense to me. Lower for Wolf, those are the targets, and then inevitably higher, hopefully. I do want to see this. Man, I don't know. Not really anything to go off of. That's okay though. I mean, if it does what it just did, you know, maybe you go up to the 236 and find resistance there at like $1.80, maybe. But you might just turn around from here too. Who knows? Let's finish this bad boy up with CleanSpark. I think this one had the most growth today. I think Shareful, you were saying that they had some bullish news. Let's see. What was their news? 2 new acquisitions. CleanSpark acquires 3 Bitcoin mining facilities in Mississippi and 1 under construction in Georgia. That is bullish news, man. That's really good. You know, generally speaking, and everyone has their own opinions, but my opinion is, and that of people whose opinions I respect, is that, you know, expansion is good. It's good to expand. It's good, but like it's not good to expand if you can't handle the business, right? You can put yourself in harm's way. And ultimately speaking, expanding at any rate does like diminish your overall what's the word I'm looking for? Like you're gonna put your money making at a hold, because now you're putting the money that you've made or are making into these expansions. So you're like investing in the now for the later. So you will see it is bullish for the future, but I think this actually, when I see this, I'm like, they're doing a lot of spending right now, and CleanSpark has outstanding shares, so they might. I don't know what their schedule is for that, or if they even have a schedule. I'm sure they have to like have some kind of schedule, but I don't really know too much about that. I should probably know more, honestly. But you know, I do know that they dilute the supply every now and then, and they sell those shares, and they probably use it to do stuff like this, and that's great. They're not selling the shares and then going on buying helicopters and for like their vacations or anything like that. They're not doing company retreats. I'm sure maybe they do stuff like that too, but it sounds like whenever they dilute their shares, they use their money for the right things, right? They're being very responsible with it, and you can see that throughout the price growth, right? Like it's been very, very good. You know, from a low of $1.78 all the way up to $13, like very, very good. But whenever I hear that, I don't think it's actually as good for the immediate term as people might be interpreting it. And you can be like, well, that's poppycock, that's silly, C-Zar, because it moved up 12% today. Yes, it did. Oftentimes, whenever we're in irrational times and people like get the wrong idea about something, you can see dramatic moves like that. You want me to show you an example? Let's go to XRP. XRP. It's a perfect example, man. Ready? This was the SEC lawsuit announcement when Ripple beat the SEC. But what happened? Why did the price pull back? It's because Ripple did not beat the SEC. That was a lie. That was a lie. That was, the headlines were misleading people, as they always do, right? The headlines are misleading people, as they always do. They don't want to help you. They want to push an agenda that they're being paid to push. Like that's what the media is for, man. But they didn't win the lawsuit. They tied it. They were found innocent on a part of it, and they were found guilty in violation on a part of it. The SEC did not lose the lawsuit against Ripple. They did not win it either. It was a tie. It was a draw. It was like very literally, quite literally a draw. And if that hurts your ears, it's because you're not you're not reading the articles. You're just reading the headlines. It's very important to read the articles and read the details. And that's why, like, sometimes bullish news, it sounds bullish, but like if you really think about it or look into it, it's like it's not bullish. Just like this, it is bullish. I think it is bullish in the long term. But immediately speaking, this means CleanSpark is going to be using money. They have holdings of CLSK. They want to grow their company. They're within their rights to sell some of their shares to like you put that money to work. And yes, they probably sell Bitcoins too, to do all that stuff as well. But they've got they got to pay employees. They got to pay for the facilities that they're already running. Like if they're gonna get started on 3, one's under construction. And they just acquired 2 other ones. Like that's probably not cheap. Because not only are they acquiring the facilities, but they got to do maintenance on all the miners. If they're building one, they have to construction costs, and then they also have to buy a bunch of miners to fill that facility with. But I'm talking about things that I truthfully don't fully understand. Like truthfully, that's more of like my opinion on like how I think of it. I can be wrong. I'm more of a chart guy. I'm like a monkey behind a keyboard with this chart stuff, man. So I'm not a scientist. I'm not a media researcher or anything like that. But all I'm trying to say is this could be misleading. Very likely, statistically speaking, in my opinion, stuff like this is misleading. Seeking alpha, they're seeking to alpha your anus, man. They're the alphas. They knew about this, man. This didn't. It came out 14 hours ago. They knew about this before 14 hours ago. But the people, the normal people, found out about it today, and that's why the price pumped. So all the big dogs are probably selling. But look at how big of a candle this is, relatively speaking, right? 9% day here, 6% day here. This is the biggest candle we've seen to the upside in quite a while. Where's the volume? Where is it? I don't see it. Do you see it? I don't see it. Most volume we saw was at the top. You're telling me that this super bullish news, it's so bullish and we got less volume than this little day? Like the histogram, these little lines here, that's like average volume, relative average volume, right? It changes, it shifts. It's not just like average throughout its whole history. It's actually set to a, what is it? It's a 45-day average. It's like a month and a half. It's below average volume. Not even a little bit close to it, but not even average volume on what sounds like somewhat of a significant day. But again, I do think, I'm not trying to diminish this at all. I do think this is bullish. I absolutely do. I just don't think immediately it's going to be bullish, right? And to my knowledge, I don't know if they've actually had any facilities in Mississippi. I think it's mainly been out of Georgia. One construction in Georgia. I know that, I don't know if they've actually had Mississippi. So what if they come into trouble with like certain laws in Mississippi that they're not aware of or that they're not familiar with? I don't know. Like I'm spitballing things that I really don't know about. I'm thinking about how could this not be good? And I don't know. Everything I'm saying, it's not a fact. It's just an idea coming to my head. I'm sure I will get plenty of comments of people like letting me know Mississippi's a more friendly crypto mining state. Maybe it is. Maybe that's more bullish. But you're still spending money on all this stuff. You do have a higher high on your RSI. Technically, you do have a daily higher high here on your closing basis. That's not bad at all. But I very much do expect that this is going to go lower. It's a lower high inevitably. All that shenanigans to just get to the very real point that I do think you're going to go lower. Rejected the 0.5, found support on the 236, closing above the 382. Generally speaking, this is a good look. I would expect that you would work your way up to the 61869, and you could even, and then you go lower. That is possible. I'm not going to deny that. I don't expect that to happen because I think Bitcoin is going to drop too, and we're going to go over Bitcoin in a second. But that could happen. Absolutely. From here, we're at $8.70. This thing could move up to $10.18, potentially even $10.75 before moving to the levels that I believe it's going to move to. I still very confidently believe, regardless of what happens, and I don't personally see it breaking out of this range, right? It did break it there. That could be a fake out though. No volume. That's the main thing. But you don't need volume. It's nice to see, but you don't need it, to be fair, right? It could move up a little bit from here. It is possible, but I don't think it will. I think that it's got lower to go. From a high or a low point here to a high point here, you went to your 786. Here you went to your 382. Here you went to your 0.5, and here you didn't even actually hit your 382, right? So I think you would at least go a little bit below that low. If you do that, you're going to see extensions off of this move probably, and the minimum extension is all the way down at the 1272, 580, 0.5 down here at like 511, 487, stuff like that could happen. Could you go lower than that? Sure. I don't think you do. I think that kind of staying in line with this. I know I've got so many lines on here. Staying in line with this would make sense. And if we go out to like April, March times, you know, this 618 area to the 0.5, even this 1272 to the 1414 right there. Delete all these other things to just kind of, oh, that's not it, sorry. To just kind of get a cleaner look at it, right? That area looks right to me, man. It really does. Right? That lines up with the fibs, it lines up with this line, it lines up with kind of the trajectory of this. Do we have to bottom at that line? No, we don't, right? Just like we did not top at this line, right? You want to draw that like tighter. I don't really know how. Maybe something like that. You don't have to go to this bottom line, just like you didn't go to the top line. That's all I'm trying to say. So just because there are targets that line up very well with this doesn't mean you have to go there. I would at least expect that we go to 580. I very much do expect that. So even if we move up to $10, truthfully speaking, if we move up from here, that minimum target only goes up. So if we moved up to like 1015, 1018, that minimum target drops about 15 cents. You know, if we move all the way up to like 1080, whatever that higher target was, that'd be 557. So the higher we move up, the lower we probably will go inevitably, but it just might take more time. But that's CleanSpark. I'm not swayed by this at all. The volume to me says it all. And we'll just see how this goes. We'll absolutely see how this goes. The one thing that I didn't consider, it kind of caught me by surprise, was this little move here. That looks kind of good. It does look kind of good, I'm not going to lie, especially for like immediate continuation up. But with all the other crypto mining stocks looking like they want to come down, with what we're going to go over with Bitcoin looking like it wants to come down, I'm not swayed by this too much. Like, this is the one thing, the probably only argument that looks good. But guess what? Fake outs exist, man. You do not have confirmation yet. You don't. You can absolutely go down from here. So we'll see. We'll see. I very much am expecting prices below $6 still. Bitcoin here had a bit of a day. You know, I find a lot of people are getting excited every single time that we're in these wicks, right? Like they're not so excited here where like most of the price action happens, but on these wicks, on all of these lower high wicks, you know, people are excited. I see it in the comments. Even if I look at the comments like 8 hours later and they're posted, those comments, I look back at when those exciting comments came, and it's whenever Bitcoin is doing the exciting things, when it's at like the high of it. So we're definitely psyching people out. I do think we're going to break down. We do have this inverse head and shoulders look, but the thing is, guys, and I mentioned this in another video. Maybe I mentioned it in this one. I don't remember. No, it was in another video. It was in my crypto trusts video that I just made. Generally speaking, with a head and shoulders pattern, that's your left shoulder. Here's your right shoulder, right? The right shoulder, in my experience, you probably won't find this in a rule book. If you do, cool. Then someone else out there agrees with me. They've noticed this too. But I haven't like read this anywhere. This is just in my experience. The right shoulder is normally smaller than the left shoulder. Normally. And if it's not smaller, it's equal. They're oftentimes very symmetrical, but the right shoulder is often a little bit smaller. This is noticeably bigger. And you might say, you drew your circles wrong. That's not fair. You're being biased. Okay, well, from when the shoulder arguably started here to where your head formed, that's about 6 bars, right? Because that's your shoulder right there, definitely, right? You started forming your head down here. You want to put it out longer? Okay, 8 bars, cool. Did your shoulder form here? I mean, if this is where your head formed, that's lower. Arguably, your shoulder would form here then, right? That's 11 bars. You're absolutely longer. And really, I think the shoulder probably formed like here or here, 10 bars. This shoulder probably formed for 6 bars. However you want to cut it, man. It's the right shoulder's bigger, and that's not common. I don't think this is an inverse head and shoulders pattern. I think a lot of people are banking on this, getting excited for it. Volume's dying off. We will see this pattern break soon. Will it break up? Will it break down? Nobody knows. Oh, man. Looks perfect. Looks like a little mouse, doesn't it? Let's see. That's just theory. You know, that's not really too much TA. The TA aspect is that we rejected the bullish area of control. We're in a downtrend, a very established downtrend in the RSI. We've yet to see the oversold zone, though we did kind of bounce off it. I would expect rejecting the bullish area of control would line us up to at least come back down, at least to the 40 area, but probably to the oversold zone, if not into it. Will it happen just like this? Maybe. Will it happen like this? Maybe, you know. But nonetheless, you've kind of got this downtrend very established. We're at the top of it now. I think we're going to go down, right? I really do. This kind of look, I'm not going to lie, is a bit different. It kind of would lead me to believe that we're going up if there weren't like other kind of scenario, like other things lining up with the price that would make me think we're going lower. But, you know, each time you found a top here, you rejected, you rejected, you rejected, you rejected. This time you're actually kind of wiggling around with it, which is a little bit different, but you can definitely go down. Let's see. Find an example of that maybe somewhere. You know, like here, right? Rejected, 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 wiggled around and still went lower, right? So, I don't know. Maybe that's not a good example, maybe it is, but I very much do think Bitcoin's going to drop, and the whole reason I'm talking about this is because I think that will cause the mining stocks all to go lower too. The one mining stock that looks somewhat bullish on a price perspective is CleanSpark for the immediate term, but there are other technical things at play that would suggest it goes lower besides that little like break in the trend that it has, like which could be a fake out as well. And then beyond all that, Bitcoin looking bearish to me. I didn't even actually look at the price, man. This is my first time looking at the price. It's at 42,900. I've just been doing TA because I'm like looking at the bars. I'm not even actually looking at the price, but it's definitely lower than it was earlier, but nothing exciting yet, right? We're not really in breakout territory as far as like breaking out to the downside or the upside probably until we go below here, probably until we go above there, like really. If you can, and when I say go above, I mean close. If we get a day to close. We went below it here. We went above it here, but close. If we can close above or below those lines, then we will have the basis for a breakout and likely continue in whatever direction we're getting. We're getting close. Volume's dying off. Generally in a pattern, whenever your volume dies off, once it comes in, that's when you get your breakout, right? So we'll see. It's probably going to happen soon. Maybe it happens this week. Maybe it happens next week, but less than 2 weeks from now, I would very much expect we get this breakout. And then even looking at this price action here, right, we are pinching tight. It's coming to an end. It might come to an end by the end of this week, really, like by Friday. It's Wednesday on the charts, so maybe within the next 3 days we'll get a little bit of a directional heading. But if not, patience, man. Just be patient. That's really all I can recommend. You know, none of what I've said is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. If you stuck, I said stuck. I know it might have sounded like suck, but I said stuck. If you stuck around till the end, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content. I really appreciate all of you guys very much for coming. You know, I enjoy making these videos, man. It really is a good thing. I don't know if you guys know this, but I got demonetized on YouTube because I'm setting up my account as a business account. I'm giving you a little personal story of mine here. You know, I don't know what's prompting it, but I'm being open with you guys because that's how we are here, man. I got demonetized, so I haven't been making money on my YouTube account, which I don't really make that much money on it anyways, man. Like it's nice. It's like a nice little bit, but like I'm not making $1,000 a month on it or anything like that, right? Not even half that a month on this because I'm such a small channel. But you know, a couple $100, few $100, something like that a month. It's nice. I haven't been making that for the past couple months because I got demonetized because I'm trying to set this up as a business. And for that, I need to like have all this tax information in, which I've been like trying to get things verified with the IRS and blah blah blah. I mean, I'm trying to get all that stuff going. So I've got my stuff going. So if you've noticed that there's less ads, it's probably because I'm not monetized anymore. But I will be getting monetized again soon. I've got all my information now. Hopefully, I will get verified again, and there's no hiccups. But you know. Long story short, I've been making these videos still, and with a good attitude, I might add, because you know, the money's nice, but man, I really back to like what started this is like I enjoy making these videos. I really do enjoy making these videos. Like it's fun for me. It gets my thoughts out there. I feel like, again, none of it's financial advice, but I feel like it does help some of you. I've had some people who have told me that they were going to buy certain things and that they saw my video and it made them just like wait and then something dropped like 30% in a day, or tens of percents over like a week, something like that, like, and they're like, thank you, like I really appreciate that stuff, man. Am I wrong about things? Sure. I know I've pissed off a couple people with this one, with ICP. I know I've pissed off a couple people with this one because, and again, all the more reason I'm not a financial advisor. Do what you want. If you really wanted to buy this thing, don't let some random face on YouTube stop you. But I was bearish on it down here, and it had this phenomenal move up, and it is phenomenal. And ICP, if you've been watching my channel, I really don't like ICP. I don't have anything against it. I just don't like it as far as like a good investment goes. I think it's a good crypto. I have no argument there. I do think it's a good crypto. I just don't think it's got growth potential. I think it grows more from here. Sure, it'll grow a decent bit. You're not going to hate the money you make with ICP. But there's going to be a lot of coins that make a lot more money than this thing, in my opinion. This from its current price, I doubt it even sees a 10x from its current price throughout the whole cycle. And that, for crypto, you guys know 10x is like a minimum standard, man. We're looking for 100x's, 50x's here, right? Multi-100x's even. You can find 1,000x in crypto. So something that's less than a 10x, I feel like this move got people excited. And again, all the reason why, like I was talking about how I enjoy making these videos. I enjoy people like benefiting from this kind of stuff, like taking information in, learning themselves, seeing things through a different scope, right? For entertainment purposes, for educational purposes, whatever, and actually benefiting them. And it sucks whenever I make a bad call and it moves up. It really does. But again, it's give and take. Can't be right every time. Can't be wrong every time. It's just part of it. And anyways, let's see. Actually, I'm curious right now. Talking about ICP, a 5x on ICP. I've been covering CleanSpark for a while. I've been very bullish on CleanSpark since these lows for sure. And you only got a 3x, almost a 4x, so not as much as ICP. But if you've been trading with me on CleanSpark, you know that you could have bought down here, you could have sold up here. I bought back over here, so I didn't even nail this perfectly, but I was saying this is a good area to buy back whenever it was down here. And I'm calling for a higher low now. So even though it didn't go up 5x, if you traded this right, you could have made more than 5x. And I feel like with CleanSpark, I've been pretty damn accurate on the calls. And I'm just talking so much at this point, man. So I hate doing that whole thing that every YouTuber does, which is like, I was right about this, I was right about this, I was right about this. And that's why I wanted to talk about ICP, because I have been wrong. I've been wrong, and ICP is not the only thing I've been wrong about. I've been wrong about things this week that I've called for. Over the past 3 weeks, I've been wrong about several things, right? Just not the things that I mainly talk about, but some altcoins here that you just can't be right all the time. I definitely thought CleanSpark would have been going down by now already. I know I called for this week to be green, but I've been calling for a red week for the last 2 weeks now. I've been wrong in that sense too. So, I'm only explaining myself so much because I don't hate, but I think it's cringy when YouTubers are like, I was right about this, I was right about this. It's like who cares, man? It's cool. It's nice to be right, but you don't gotta brag about it is all I'm trying to say. And I'm happy whenever I'm right. I definitely am, but I try to contain that, right? I brag about it to my friends. I brag about it to my family. I brag about it to my wife, but I try not to brag about it too much to you guys. And this is just the C-Zar's personal coffee corner here. I hope you enjoyed the little last minute talk. I'm going to get monetized soon, so don't hate me for a little bit of extra ad time and stuff like that. But for now, I'm not monetized. You probably still see ads whenever you start my videos, but probably not every video has ads. But I've learned on YouTube that they do, even if you're not monetized, they will still put ads on your videos. Just maybe not in the middle. And I do have it set to the smallest amount of advertising. There's some people that every 2.5 minutes, every 5 minutes that you'll have it. I have it set to the lowest default setting because I'm not trying to waste your guys' time. But it does help, man. It really does help, especially because I'm not just fooling around. I've been fooling around now for about 5 or 10 minutes talking about this, but I put my time into this. I put 3 hours a day into this stuff, right? I've got other things going on. Imagine if you work 8 hours a day and then you got to do 3 hours extra work just for a hobby, right? And really, I probably spend at least 2 hours doing charts on videos, and then I spend another hour replying to comments. I look at all your comments. I reply to every comment. and I go over every request. I write them down in my notebook, right? Like it takes time. I got like all the requests down, man, and it's like a little part-time job, right? So I am going to monetize. I am going to, but I set it to the minimum standard because, again, I'm not trying to waste your guys' time. And I plan on doing good things with that money, I promise you guys, but all in due time. So hit that like button. I appreciate you all very much, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.